Welcome everyone to the KMC Controls webinar, AHR Expo preview for 2019. Really excited to have you all here. We just want to be able to share a bunch of content with you guys, what to expect at the Expo, kind of just give you a reminder of our product offering and kind of just glance at a little bit of this and a little bit of that. We're super excited. We're looking January 14th through 16th next week. You can see us at booth C5324. Again, that's booth C5324. And can you guys believe it? It's already January 8th. This year is starting to move so fast. So really excited. Let's go ahead and dive right on in and see what we're working with here. So as we go through, again, as always with our webinars, feel free to leave questions and comments, and we'll try to address those during the presentation. I know in this particular presentation, we're going to be looking at a little bit of a longer one, so we might not have that time slot, but we also will email you after the fact, so all of your questions get put into a spreadsheet and we're able to see who asked them, so we can email you back a specific answer. We want to make sure we get the right person for your question, so we can detail that out for you. So we're just going to start off with reminding everyone KMC Controls mission and vision. We are looking to provide innovative and intuitive solutions from responsive and supportive people. And we really mean that, and we live by that. Printed on the back of all of our ID badges, we have our vision. And that's KMC Controls will provide innovative, easy-to-use building automation and technology solutions. We will be known for customer-focused creativity, dedicated, passionate employees. And I truly believe that everyone here really cares about the product that we produce, and we really live by that innovative and intuitive, responsive and supportive people. So another thing that we kind of go by is what we coin as the triangle, and we try to make all of our solutions easy, right? It's all about making things simple. We live by kind of the three principles of open, secure, and scalable. We want to have seamless integration with any existing architecture, and then we want to secure that. So we use, especially with our KMC Commander platform, we have Intel and Dell security technologies, and we also have our own security measures for all of our hardware and software solutions. And then, of course, third, we want to be scalable. So affordable is kind of the coin term in that scalability. So we can put a solution in a single building, or we can go across a portfolio of buildings with scalable applications and equipment that won't break the budget. And that's what we're all about, keeping things easy. So a little bit about KMC Controls. Just in case you weren't aware, we were founded in 1969. We're privately held, or headquartered in New Paris, Indiana. And we do all of our distribution and solution from New Paris, and we're ISO 9001 2015 certified. With our vertical integration, again, we're proudly manufactured in the USA. We do all of our tooling, plastic and rubber injection molding, circuit boards, software, hardware, firmware. We have teams in place. Our technical support staff is there as well. We truly are the cradle to grave quality and customer support. We provide that all from one location, so we're able to answer any of your questions. We're able to tackle problems and make solutions on the spot because we have everything we need located under one roof. So the first thing I wanted to talk about that you're going to see at the show is kind of our KMC architecture for KMC Total Control and KMC Connect. So Total Control is our automation software, along with KMC Connect, our hardware configuration software. And this is kind of a little bit of a branch off of what this would look like, right? So you'd have the software sitting on top on a workstation. It could just be a PC that would be connected into, it could go directly into our hardware, or you could be looking at tying into our BAC 5051E router. And we're definitely going to be talking about that a little bit more. Our BAC 5051E router is highly popular. It's just a fantastic tool. It can do so much. But when we route MSTP to Ethernet or vice versa, we're able to use those routers to connect all to our MSTP networks, as you can kind of see there. So we have the green Ethernet line with the orange MSTP line kind of coming through. So with KMC Total Control and KMC Connect, you're able to visualize, configure, and of course, to utilize the full benefits of our software and full configuration capabilities, you want to be using KMC hardware, but it doesn't mean we're locking away everyone else. We're still able to see BACnet BTL certified controllers. We believe in the open standard, so we definitely still keep things open and available. So moving into the Niagara architecture, we have KMC Workbench. And so if you get KMC Workbench, that's our Niagara software utility. So with that, we embed the KMC Converge package. So KMC Converge is basically our automation software built into the Niagara so that you're able to configure through Niagara. And with the KMC Workbench, you're able to load that up, and then we can go through our Jace. And again, back to the BAC 5051E router. Those are really great to have with a Jace. We always recommend having that just because you can take a lot of the network load off of the Jace using the BAC 5051E. And that can lead to not having to wire up MSTP into the Jace, and it takes a lot of the load off, so you might be able to use smaller modules. And again, you can kind of just see how our network trees could span up to those things. We also have the KMC Converge GFX, and this one is particularly fun. It's quick, responsive graphics that you can build within the Workbench. And basically, if you need to meet spec really quick, or you need to make quick changes on the fly, if you have KMC Converge GFX loaded in, you can go to that workstation at any point and create those graphics and make changes. And it's just a quick, easy way to get visualization in a very simple way. So the third thing that we wanted to really show you was the KMC Commander architecture. So KMC Commander is our IoT automation platform. It's built on a Dell gateway, so that's kind of the data pump segment. We also have a cloud segment, and then we're able to communicate, and we can really be able to see and do resource metering, utility, access systems, building automation, security, irrigation, lighting. Basically, we can connect to just about anything. We use protocols such as BACnet, Modbus, SNMP to connect to all these devices. So primarily right now, Commander is really, really great at obviously seeing the building automation side of things. So, we can sit Commander on top of, as this is pictured, we can sit that on top of the BACnet router and be able to communicate across our networks. So it's got integration and ability. Then the gateway is able to connect to our cloud interface in a secure manner to where you can get mobile graphics, you can get things on the fly. So basically you can install this thing within a couple of hours and you can be up and running, and you can finish your install remotely, which is a real benefit to the KMC Commander. So moving on, we're going to talk about our Conquest automation hardware. So KMC Conquest, it's very much coined with our green look, so it's very easy to spot. And really the goal is the ease of product selection. We want to maintain flexibility, of course. We want to minimize the use of software during installation, make ease of installation and troubleshooting. We want to have remote commissioning and, of course, customizable experiences. We can blow programming out and you can put customizable programming in. That's what Conquest is all about. We want to be flexible and open. So some of the features, it's fully programmable. So our line is fully programmable, whether it's VAVs, general purpose controllers, any of those are fully programmable with KMC Connect and Total Control or Niagara. Of course, our controllers can alarm, schedule, and trend within the controllers themselves. And we have multiple connectivity options. We can go MSTP or Ethernet. Looking at our dual port Ethernet, that's one of the fun things that we have on our Ethernet models. We can actually daisy chain, so there's no need for home runs. So when you have a built-in Ethernet switch here, so you'll have two Ethernet ports, and one of them is for communicating, and then one is to switch it on to the next one. So now we're going to kind of look more at the VAV, the unitary, and the general purpose. Starting with the VAV, you're looking at 8 inputs and 7 outputs. Of course, we have all kinds of different options and models. But as pictured here, we have the BAC 9001. That is our MSTP version. One thing to note, our room sensor ports are always coined with this yellow Ethernet right here. That's just to let you know, because we certainly don't want to be plugging the wrong network connection into that. So we definitely try to make that highly evident right there. So with the VAV, you're looking at factory programming for single and dual duct configurations. You're going to have things configured factory for SDPI with fan and reheat, and any of the 6 configurations may be loaded via restore on the KMC Conquest NetSensor or KMC Connect Lite, which we're going to talk a little bit about in a bit. So here's just kind of a breakdown just for reference of some model numbers where you can kind of see our scheme. One thing to note, anytime you see kind of the CE scheme or the E at the end of a product, that typically means it's going to have that Ethernet. CE in this case stands for clock and Ethernet. So I also wanted to just jaunt in while we're talking Conquest. I also wanted to talk about Simply VAV for a moment. You're going to see this at the show. We'll have a whole panel kind of talking about Simply VAV and really how simple it is. We actually just did a webinar, if you guys were there in December, on Simply VAV, and we had some great feedback on that. With Simply VAV, basically this right here, this slide was the biggest thing for most people. It's selecting the right model. So the biggest difference for Conquest to Simply VAV is that Conquest is fully programmable. Simply VAV is pre-programmed. The programming cannot be changed, but that's done very intentionally because we wanted it to be as simple as possible for your application. So right here, this is a great little guide that kind of shows you model by model what you're getting. Now, when you order these, they also have it on the sticker. So you can kind of see on the right side of the screen what the different models do. And there's, so looking between specifically, because you may not notice, the 8005 and the 8205, the biggest difference is that the 8205 uses precise control, so we have true damper positioning feedback. So if you need that precision, we're able to do that with that. The back 8007, of course, has dual duct capabilities, which you'll need a TSP 8001, and that is our secondary actuator. So getting back into KMC Conquest, we're going to be looking at the unitary controller now. We're looking at 8 inputs and 10 outputs. It comes pre-programmed in the factory for RTU, HPU, 2-pump fan coil units, 4-pump fan coil unit configurations. You can switch between English and metric, and this is all configurable. So we configure it initially as an RTU, but again, you can blow out all this programming and you can put in your own customized programming, or you can use it from our application library. So it's totally customizable. Again, here's kind of a breakdown of the series and kind of the conventions. Again, you see the C, the CE, and the different methods there. And now we're going to look at the general purpose. So the general purpose also has 10 inputs, 8 universal, 2 dedicated in the thermostat port. It has 8 outputs with HPO module support. So we also have, all these controllers also have optional Ethernet. Let me just talk a little bit about the HPOs. So the handoff auto cards allow for superior flexibility. We're able to use, we have 5 major different types of cards. Analog, so 0 to 10 volts, a 4 to 20 milliamp. We also have relay cards, and we have a zero crossing triac card, and all of this is software supervised. So all of this can be configured in the software. When you go up, they are hot swappable. So as you can kind of see up in the top right, you're able to open up the front panel, and you can, while this controller is fully powered and everything's going, you can swap these cards out. So you just could literally pull that right out, put in a different card, and be off to the races. So with the general purpose, again, we also offer expansion modules. So when you need more points, you can go up to 4 expansions, and each of those has 8 in and 8 out, or we have a new version that has 16 inputs if you're just looking for more inputs. And here again is the ordering convention, the 5901 or the 5901 CE if you want the Ethernet version. And then our CAN series, the CAN 5901 kind of goes along with the back 5901, kind of something to remember there to get your expansion module. I believe the CAN 5902 is our 16 input version. KMC Conquest NetSensor. All right, so the NetSensor, we're looking at an integrated solution. It's really got 4 sensors in one. So that really does minimize your installation labor. So if you're trying to upgrade sensors in a room, we can offer that temperature, humidity, occupancy, and CO2. On this particular version, you can see our occupancy sensor in the front there. The user interface is very simple. It's a 3-button menu system, which we can also configure 2 separate password levels. So you'll find that in a lot of our stuff, we're able to set passwords not only for the end user, but for the SIs as well. So you can do all of that. So right here's kind of the display, and you can kind of see what that would look like in different scenarios. And again, this is kind of another crazy little bit of just ordering. One thing I did want to call out, and why I added this, was it is important to have the W on that for the white sensor, because if you don't go with the W, our traditional is going to be the almond color. And of course, there's options with no logo, almond, and different things like that. But you can get the sensor kind of customized in many different ways with the different amount of sensor options in it. So then we also have more room sensors. These are more of the smaller discrete options that you can kind of just plug and play. So there's those. I believe that's the 6000 series, the ST6000s. And now we're going to look at the Conquest BACnet router. So I'm very excited about the router. This is really quite the tool. The router is a solution that you don't need any software, and that is what makes this thing awesome. It uses HTML5 web-based web pages, so it will serve those web pages up from the router itself with no software, which is just awesome. We have integrated network diagnostics with MSTP device status, token use, network metrics use, and what's really cool is it's a single cable. So right there in the front of the router, if you're not familiar with the router, we have a single USB cable connection, which you're able to communicate with it and power it from a single cable, which makes it a lot simpler to kind of move around with as a tech tool. So we can always use this to transition from MSTP to IP where it's convenient. And again, this is going back to kind of the JSON when we talked about Niagara. We can offload the MSTP and routing from the integration device, so that really is going to reduce your JCPU usage. And again, it may limit your need for MSTP module on the JACE. So that can be a very convenient way to do it. And of course, it's perfect as a technician's tool for local network access and troubleshooting. So this is kind of what one of the web pages might look like for you with the router. This is going to be the configuration kind of UI. It's a very simple page, but it gives you a very visual explanation of what's happening with your IP ports, your routers, how it's routing, and your MSTP network. You're able to select your baud rate and put in all of those numbers and metrics. So with diagnostics, I would say diagnostics is kind of the biggest thing with the router. You're able to really quickly troubleshoot things. You can get a status report on your MSTP network. You can look at network metrics. You can get frames count, frames in error, data frames, duplicate MAC addresses, PFM count. So the MSTP capture tool is also configurable. So really it has just a plethora of network metrics that it can give you. So here's kind of some of the web pages, and we have done a webinar on this. So if you guys missed the webinar on that, there's a really good, it's another half-hour webinar that really details in on the router and goes through kind of point by point and page by page of what the router can do. And so right here on this screen in particular, we can see the token use. So green is good. So this will actually be flashing across the screen as it goes through. And it allows you to kind of see, maybe somebody missed a max master, or there's a hang up, somewhere in the network we can see where it's hanging up and be able to really narrow down what's going on. We also have a convenient air balancing tool right inside of it. Moving into the KMC Connect Lite hardware configuration mobile app. This is really cool. You'll see this at the show. So you can use an Android phone or an iPhone with a Bluetooth fob, and you can configure our controllers while they're unpowered in the box. It's really neat. Now you can also just take it out of the box and still do it the same way, but if you need to configure it and you don't want to open the box, have a particular reason, you can do that all right there with your phone. I will remark, so you'll see the logo on the box, and it looks like that, and that's where you want to hover your phone. I will remark that the Google Pixel 2, I believe, seems to be really good at picking up the signal. It really depends on your phone's NFC ability. So some of the newer phones have a low power NFC, so you just kind of have to play with different types of phones to find that right phone for that. Here's some of the pages and what they look like. It's a very simple user interface. It's very friendly. It's really a 4-tab system. You have the home, read, write, and history, and you're able to do everything right from there. So here's kind of an example if you were to click on the bottom left. All right, now looking at the KMC AppStat. This has a color LCD. It's configurable only. It's BACnet. We have the 3 main apps within the AppStat, the 2 and 4 pipe fan coils, RTU, and heat pump. They all have a real-time clock and built-in schedules. So the one thing to remember with the KMC AppStat is that it stands for application-specific thermostat, right? So it's application-specific. So you are choosing your model of AppStat based on what you're trying to control. Are you controlling an RTU? Are you controlling a heat pump? What are you doing? Are you doing the 2 to 4 pipe fan coils? So that's something to really keep in mind, the application specific. Now, if you look at our FlexStat, that's more flexible, right? So the FlexStat convention is that it's more flexible. You're able to do a little bit more. We have AHU, FCU, heat pumps, and RTU applications. And that has full scheduling, programming, a little bit bigger display, and a little bit more going on in the menu system itself. So now we're going to look at the KMC Commander IoT automation platform. So KMC Commander has really come a long way. So basically, KMC Commander can sit on top of anything, really. It can sit on top of your building automation. Whether you're running total control, or whether you're running Niagara, whether you're doing Tritium, no matter what, the beautiful thing is that all of that data can get pumped up to us with the KMC Commander platform. It's open, secure, and scalable. We have built APIs, and we're always building more. We've really made this a platform to build upon. So with the security aspect of it, we also have edge connectivity, we have remote access monitoring, and all of this stuff is controlled with different security measures. So here's kind of a look at the KMC Commander dashboard. Now I will say that we have a ton of videos on that as well, so that that's all on our YouTube channel. So if you haven't checked out our YouTube channel, definitely check that out. So again, you can kind of see some of the interface, our graphical interfaces. It's a quick way to visualize your data, get the points you need. You can alarm, and I'm going to go back up in the top right corner. You can see how there's 6 alarms alarmed there, and those are mid-level alarms. So it's in kind of an orangey yellow. Now, if those were critical alarms, it would force you to go check those out, right? And you would be getting notifications and all kinds of different things like that. Just looking at the physical layer, we have the gateway, and we can connect to all of these different things. Okay, so in reality, it's a huge connected. It's basically a data pump segment of Commander is really the gateway. It's allowing you to get all of that information, and then we're able to pump it into the cloud. Again, it's secure. We have monitoring and controlling remotely. We can do histories and trends, custom schedules. It's a full open API, fully responsive graphics. You can stipulate your user access. So, you have different tiers for your techs, maybe. You can take it all the way down to the occupant, if you want to give them access to Commander, but you can show them only what you want them to see. You can literally put it down to one zone, one room, and that's a beautiful thing. So for multi-site, we can have multiple commanders under one account. So you can go in and use a map function, and you're able to go through and choose your sites, and it really works quite well to be able to visually just know where you're at and which commander and which site you're on. Again, with data and security, the gist of it is we're using the highest end data standards. We're encrypting, we're using SSL, we have a RESTful API, we're forcing unique IDs and passwords to be used, you know, something a little bit better than 1234556 or password. That's obviously very important. It all starts, you know, you're only as strong as your weakest link, right? So that's something to definitely be thinking about. And the local network is not accessible via the cloud. So there are certain functions that cannot be done on the cloud, very specific to security measures, and they're only for security purposes. So there's no VPN required. You're looking at whitelisting. So this thing is quite locked down, and you have to actually forcefully whitelist exactly what you want. And that way you're really adhering to those security standards, and you're not leaving yourself vulnerable about, you know, something you didn't realize was even a problem. You have a customizable experience, so we're able to send you alerts. There is an application coming soon for KMC Commanders that's being worked on that will give you those alerts, so you'll get the notifications. We can do schedules, trends, alarms. You know, virtual thermostat card, which is kind of what's in the hand right there. You can set all of your set points, see what it is, see what mode you're in. Depending on what kind of sensors, you can customize your cards however you see fit. And again, there's kind of just some more screen grabs of looking at the schedules and the alarm manager. And again, here's more of some mobile graphics. And the cards will flip around, and you're able to see all of your AVs, BVs, and what you're actually sensing. And again, my plug for our YouTube. Our YouTube is a plethora of just rich content. We have just released, not too long ago, a brand new series of KMC Commander 2.0. When we launched that version of the software. So this can get you up and running very quickly. It takes you all the way from when you open the box to doing advanced things in the system menu. So with that, guys, I just wanted to also plug again that all of our webinars that we do are put on YouTube. So we've done webinars not only on Connect, the router, Converge, block programming, this one itself, and we're trying to keep on schedule of about once a month, just to keep you guys in the loop of what's going on with KMC. And because you have attended this webinar, for all those of you who are on right now, you're going to get an email for a survey on the webinars. And we really want your feedback. We really want to know what you guys want to see. What do you want to see more of? What do you want to dive into? Because we really want to be attentive to what you want to learn, what you want to know. We want to be those supportive people that we hope to be. Also, you can check us out on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube again. So all of our latest information is published to those sites. You can get in touch with us very quickly via Facebook and Twitter. And of course, for AHR here, we're going to be at booth, again, C5324 for the AHR Expo 2019 in Atlanta from January 14th, 16th. And we're really excited just to be out there and be able to show off our stuff. We really appreciate all of your guys' support and working with us and being great partners, and we hope to continue that on, and we hope that everyone has a great 2019 moving forward. And again, from the Building Geniuses here at KMC Controls, we wish you a happy January, a wonderful 2019, and we thank you for attending. Have a great day and a great month.